Ugh. I've taken a shower twice already, and I still feel disgusting after watching this movie. So in case you didn't know, on February 18th, Netflix dropped Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, I guess what we're calling it. A direct sequel to the original film from 1974, directed by the legendary Tobe Hooper. Like I said on the last video as I talked about the trailer, there's a couple things that were in good favor with this film of being possibly decent. One, Fede Alvarez, which probably saying his name wrong again, you know, he did us good with the remake, reboot, sequel type thing, whatever, of Evil Dead. He did a phenomenal job with that. So being that his company was involved with this, we knew it had a pretty good shot. Also, Netflix has been really good to us with original horror films or exclusive horror films. And based on the history of this franchise, we really couldn't get any worse. So what did we actually end up with? Well, yes, it is a very short film and it flies by very quickly. I mean, they get right into the story and the action of this film. And I have to say, for a horror movie, you know, they did a really good job of telling a story and actually building character development in so that you felt like bad for the people you need to feel bad for, the people that you wanted to see die. They did a good job of building why you think they should just go, and the ones that you wanted to see survive, you know, they really built it up of, you know, you rooting for them to survive and make it. I will say this from the top though, this movie is violent. This movie has an enormous amount of blood. So all the carnage candy that you were hoping and wishing for that would be served in this film, you absolutely have it. I'll go as far as to say that there's some moments where I think they took it way too far and just became just gross with it, to be perfectly honest with you. It just got nasty in this film with the amount of gore and violence. It just got nasty. As far as the actual story of the film, you can see from the trailer that there's a whole bunch of young adults on a bus coming to the town of Harlow, Texas, where the Texas Chainsaw Massacre event happened in the 70s, and they don't really say in the trailer why they're there. I will say this, that I'm not going to tell you, and that's for two reasons. One, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but also, if I just told you why, it sounds really stupid. Also, don't read anything about why they're there, because on paper, it's pretty stupid. But I tell you what though, straight up, in the film though, it plays out perfectly. But like, I was trying to find a way of telling people what's going on, and I just, there's no way I can explain it without sounding just stupid. And speaking of stupid, bringing back the final girl from the last film was stupid. That was by far the worst part of the film. You know, they really built her up and hyped her up, and we really thought, you know, we were going to get like a Laurie Strode. I mean, they pretty much copied the look of her and everything, and we don't get that. It was a huge letdown and complete disappointment on that. As far as the rest of the characters in this film though, they all played their parts very well. Very good acting. Actually, we'll go back on that. The final girl from the first film that they, you know, hyped up and everything, her acting was just god-awful, terrible, straight up garbage. No. Yeah. Worst part of acting the film is her. Luckily, she ain't here for a lot of the film. So, but anyways, everybody else did a good job. The movie looked great. It looked like it was super high budget. I don't think it was a big budget film, but it was finished. And, you know, for it being as gross and as violent as the movie is, it actually looks beautiful. I mean, it is fantastic looking. So it's nice to have something that looks good in this franchise and doesn't look like some old school straight to VHS, which is pretty much the category most of these films have been falling into over the last decades. And when we get down to the main show, the main star attraction of this film, what everybody is wanting to see, that is Leatherface. Did we get a good Leatherface? And I'm gonna have to say, absolutely. We got, I would almost say, the best Leatherface of this franchise. I think they did a good job of playing right down the middle with him. He wasn't a weak buffoon that was tripping over everything, and he wasn't like a superhero with super strength like they did with the Jessica Biel remake series. This is a good blend of both. He is menacing, he is scary, and on a side note, scary. This film is actually scary. Usually with these type of just slasher, I guess we'll call a guy with a chainsaw a slasher film, but you know, for this genre, like scares, you know, other than like the jump scare fake out things they do, generally they're not scary. But this movie does a great job of keeping you like white knuckle tension that it makes the film actually very scary, which I wasn't expecting that coming into this. But back to Leatherface. Yeah, the portrayal of him is done very well. He's by far the grossest looking Leatherface we've ever seen. I mean, it looks like a dude wearing someone else's skin on his face in here. We do get to see a little bit of him without, you know, the face of someone else on his face. And even when he's like a regular guy, he's still scary and menacing. So when he gets the whole outfit on with the face of someone else and his, you know, butcher attire, I guess we'll call it, and gets his chainsaw, which the way he gets his chainsaw, I wasn't expecting that whatsoever, and it's an interesting take. I'll say that. You got to watch it. So when we come down to the rating, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 is a good movie. Which again, with this franchise, we were at the point we had nowhere else to go but up.